You ready?
Yeah.
Wanna take a sip? Hey everybody, it's Maia here. Back here with the Regular People podcast. Today is our first episode ever. So let's clap it up for that.
I got the honor of being the first guest.
Yes, this is my first guest, but we're gonna introduce her in a second. So if you don't know, if you don't know what Regular People podcast is, which most of you don't because it's the first episode, it's a podcast where I'm highlighting the life stories of regular people, basically to show that none of us are really ordinary at all. We all have stories that made us who we are today. So I'm just here to highlight that because podcasts always highlight celebrities and how they got to where they are, but no one cares about the regular people, but I do. So this is what we're here for. And today we are exploring Dominique. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm wonderful.
Good. Do you want me to call you Dominique or do you have like something else?
Nah, Dominique.
Dominique, okay.
Yeah.
Alright, so this is Dominique. We're going to be exploring her life today.
Okay.
But before we do that, we're going to start with the icebreaker to make her feel comfortable. So the icebreaker question is, say you're independently wealthy and don't have to work, what would you do with your time? And I'll answer as well after you.
Didn't have to work and I was wealthy. What I do with my time? I'll probably just go around asking people what do they want, like what you need, like if you would you want to start a business, like I'd probably give you some money to start a business or whatever, like what's something that you always wanted to do.
So you would just be out here helping everybody?
Yeah, because I got all this money, I don't gotta work. I'm probably bored, so I would just help people.
That's a good answer.
I guess. Yeah.
I never thought about that.
I mean, that's something I just wanted to do. I always keep in mind the people that I like, ones that I don't like. So I don't know about you.
Okay, that's a good answer. That's cool. I feel like there should be more people out here doing stuff like that. But for me, if I was wealthy and I didn't have to do anything specific, I would just I would do a couple of things. I would travel. I would host game nights with my family, like randomly. I would just sit by a fire, roast marshmallows. I don't know. I just do random stuff. Like every day would be like a party for me.
I would too, because I can afford it. I would just do random stuff.
But yeah, I would. That never crossed my mind to help people. That's probably bad, but
it's not bad. It's your money. You do what you want to do.
That's true. I would just travel, fly my family out. We would all just travel together. That's what I would do. So that's the icebreaker. It shows your personality and all.
Oh wow. See, people think I'm mean. See that answer? It's a good answer.
I know Dominique. I don't think she's mean. I think she's a little up northern. So it could come across as mean a little bit, but I'm used to it. So before we get into the rest of the show, I just want to put out there that this is more of a mental health podcast, or I mean, it don't necessarily have to be a mental health, but I know like most of the questions I'm going to ask is going to end up being about mental health or spirituality or whatever. But I just want you to know that I'm not judging anything. You can feel comfortable. But you know, this is the world here, so just be open and comfortable, not judging you. So the first question, these are questions I'm going to ask anybody who comes on the show. First question is, who are you to the outside world? So how do people see Dominique? Or how do you think people see you?
I think people see me as a rude, mean person. Yeah. They do. And
everybody?
Yeah.
You think everybody
I do. They think I'm rude or mean or whatever. Like, I have like anger problems, which I do. which I know that why I asked you, you have a therapist? Because no one. I think it's up to the person to want to change. I personally don't think I'm mean, but a lot of people say it. Then obviously there must be some sort of truth to it. However, I do think people are just over exaggerating some things, and they just want to take so personal, and it really isn't that personal. Because people get mad over the slightest thing that I do, which there's some aspects that's just like, all right, you really just dragging it, and it's really not all that serious. But people just think I'm mean, or people just don't want to come to terms with the truth about what I'm saying, so they like to flip things. I get that a lot. So I think those that actually know me personally, like my friend back home, she would tell you that I'm really not a mean person. Like they think I'm rude, I'm just straightforward.
So you're straightforward, but so you're saying people view you as mean, rude, but you think you're just straightforward. But that brings me to my next question. Who do you think you are to yourself? Like, who are you when you describe yourself?
Girl, like,
and any of these answers, they can be positive or negative. Like, it's just what you think.
How I view myself? As someone who's really extremely sensitive and who can't articulate themselves very well, so that I just show anger more. Like, I'm so used to being mad because of how I grew up in my household. It was nothing but anger. So that's all I know how to do is be mad. But really, I'm just sensitive. I think that's why people think I'm mean.
So, when you say how you grew up in your household is why you're sensitive, do you want to get into that?
Nope.
No? Okay. So, that's interesting.
I'm just really sensitive. Yeah.
So, is there anything other than like how you grew up in your household and why you think you're sensitive and you show it in like anger? Is there like any other way?
I'm used to it. I'm just used to people yelling and being mad and like in my house speaking to me, like the way they talk to me, calling me names. Is what I guess that's just how I don't know. It's like
a defense mechanism.
Yes, I'm always on defense.
Okay, cool. So normally I would go into that, but I feel like that's a little, I don't want to keep trying to dig in when you already said something you don't really want to talk about, but that's fine.
I have trouble controlling my emotions.
Okay.
So I'm going to seek therapy one of these days in anger management.
So like, what do you think, is there another way you feel like would help you besides therapy? Like, do you think it's something that you should do more often that makes you feel good? Or do you think it's just like, is there something else that you think would help your attitude besides going to therapy? Like, what makes you happy or makes you feel better with those type of things? Like, controlling that.
What makes me happy?
No, like, what I'm trying to ask is, so you said you feel like therapy would help your emotions and stuff like that. But I'm saying,
figure out what the hell wrong with me. I think it would figure out what the fuck is wrong with me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll go to the next question.
I don't know. Music makes me happy.
Music?
Yeah. I don't know. Being around other people that are nice.
Yeah.
Like you.
I get that. Because, like, I feel the same way, like, with myself. I feel like with me, I feel like there's some things that I have harder controlling my emotions and stuff when I'm by myself. But when I get around good energy, it makes it easier. I'm like, I'm not even like, why am I tripping all the time? Like, and I feel good right now. But besides that, the next question is, what is a turning point in, first off, I like to say, I feel like people have many turning points in their life, you know, that makes them do different things or it makes them feel different ways. So what is a turning point in your life that you think affected you mentally, emotionally, spiritually? It can be positive or negative. So give me like one turning point for you.
You give me an example first.
So, for example, a turning point for me could, well, could have been when I was younger. My dad moved out of my house and my parents broke up. That was a turning point for me because it made me kind of feel like it made me side more with my mom. So now everything I do, I'm gonna defend my mom because I seen the type of things she went through and how she had to raise us by ourselves. So that was a turning point for me because that just made me, I feel like it just messed my mind up a little bit. So now I'm like so stuck to my mom. Everything I do, I'm like, what's my mom doing? Like, you know what I'm saying? So that's a turning point for me. Or it could be, it don't have to be something as deep. It could be, I don't know, like, so what do you, like, what is your perception of a turning point that happened in your life? It could be moving to Charlotte.
A turning point that made me, what? Repeat the question.
What is a turning point that you feel is a turning point in your life that affected you positively or negatively and affected you mentally or emotionally or spiritually or just physically? Like, what is the turning point that you can think of? Like, these are, I know there's many, but what is one that pops up straight out of your head?
I don't know, just overall, just me being mad all the time. And it's like, I'm tired of being angry, tired of being upset. So, like, I don't want to be mad anymore. I don't want to.
So when the question is, when did you realize you don't want to be mad anymore?
Yeah. When I was working at the hotel, yes.
Okay.
At the Sheraton Hotel, and it's just like, I dealt with sexism, yes, and a bit of racism, and it was just, it was just always, Dominique's the problem, you. So I was just always angry, and plus other things when dealing with men, and how they treat me, how I just, like, yes, it's them, so it's like, what is going on? It seems to be a pattern, so how can I fix this?
So that's when you realized your attitude was not helping you.
Yeah, like, how can I go about things a different way to get people to actually hear me? Mm-hmm. I'm like, people, I don't think they just gonna hear me. They just don't care.
So you would get mad and stuff like that because you feel like people didn't hear you.
Yeah, or deliberately, like, not do it. Mm-hmm. Like that, like, they know what I'm saying, but just go out their way to be like, no, you're wrong, even though I'm actually not.
I guess. That's interesting because I feel like a lot of people in the world are like that. Like, I have all different types of friends, and I could think of 2 friends right now who are like that. Like, they're just, it may seem like they're just mean, angry, but it's really just, they just want to be heard. Yeah. And that's, a lot of people, like, go through that.
It's sad.
And people fault them for that. They don't even, I feel like people just judge too quickly. So, yeah. And that's what this show is about. Get people to stop judging so fast. Because people really be having stuff that they're going through or went through, you know? So, that was a good question. So, my last question, and I want to remind you, this is a story. You've been doing good. You're being given what I want. But this is a storytelling podcast. So,
tell a story.
Yes, tell a story of, mind you, this is, I want the first thing that pops up in your head. Okay? And it don't have to be multiple stories. It can be one simple story of something that you feel like always revisits your mind.
Okay.
And why are you laughing?
Because the bitch mechanism. Yeah.
So, are you going to talk about... Okay, go ahead. What are you about to say?
Well, that's the question. Like,
yeah, like, just tell
me a story.
Tell me a story, because we are highlighting life stories that affected people mentally, emotionally. It could be anything that just affected you. Because I know, like, at least for me, when I have a deep conversation with somebody, there's always a handful of stories that I just want to get off my chest when I'm talking to somebody new, and I want them to know who I am and where I came from. There's a handful of stories that I am willing to share because I want people to understand me. So I don't think I'm the only one who's like that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So out of your handful of stories, what is one story that's jumping out at you right now?
We can cut the camera right now.
I mean, just think of it this way, like this, whatever story you tell me, first off, make sure you're comfortable, you know, and second off, these stories could be something that'll help somebody that's listening, you know, because we always care about celebrities, public figures, but they don't really tell us the real stuff that they go through. Or when they do, they already at the top. So I feel like there's way more regular people in this world than there are people who we see on TV. So make sure it's something you're okay with sharing, but just give me something. This is the last question. This is the last question. So
a story that pops up in my head. I don't think I have a story.
I think you have plenty.
I don't think I have a story.
Okay, do you want me to make it more, like, give you a range of something?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, do you want to do something, like, family-wise, or, like, give me something relationship-wise? Or, like, something a story that made you realize something about yourself, other than being, I don't know. See, that's why, like, before the show, I was trying to figure out a way to make it not as broad, because I know people don't want to share like that, but just try, give me something.
Oh man, okay. I feel like because of how I grew up and the things that happened in my household, how I'm not close to my biological father. My stepfather was just as bad. So relationship wise, I feel like it's kind of hard for me. I feel like men tend to take advantage, I guess. I mean, I don't know.
Men, are you talking about, like, your father figures, or are you talking about, like, men, like,
men,
relationship wise?
Men that are like,
or men, period.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just men, period. I guess I don't know. I guess they take advantage, or they don't really care. There's no empathy, stuff like that.
Okay.
You just have to learn how to. I don't just respect yourself. I don't know. I feel like I would have been a daddy's girl if he would have been in my life. Like, I would know how a guy is supposed to treat me, I guess. Mm-hmm. But now I'm starting to figure out what I like and what I don't like. So it's like, yeah, I don't know.
Okay, so that's interesting because it's like, coming from a person who really didn't have her dad either. My dad I knew where he was all the time, but he was, like, not a figure for me. So it's just, like, shows you how not being a father, because I know men gonna watch this. So it's like, show you how not taking care of your kids how you should and not loving on your kids will affect them in the long run. Because I feel like a lot of dads who are like that don't think or don't care to think, but really they don't think it's going to affect your child like how it will. Like, I feel like my dad, I don't think he really gave a thought on me. If I'm acting this way and this is going to affect my daughter in the long run, she's not going to forget this in 20 years. I don't think that crossed his mind. And I feel like a lot of men, because they're running from their emotions or they got stuff going on, they don't even sit there and think like, okay, how are my actions affecting you? So that's kind of, I guess that's what you're saying. Well,
a girl needs her dad. Trust me. A girl needs her dad. I'm telling you. To be I don't know. So,
alright.
My stepfather ain't do nothing. It's like, I don't know when it comes to men. So, not even my stepfather even helped me figure stuff out.
So, what age did you get a stepdad?
Like, he's always been there since I was a baby. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I think my mom said I was like 1 when they met, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Okay. Well, we definitely gonna have to have you come back.
Oh, okay.
Onto the Regular People podcast. After I have a couple more episodes, I feel like a lot of people are gonna be like, okay, I'm ready to come back now, because like I feel like with you being my first person, you haven't seen other people on the show and seen them open up. So I feel like you did. Like I feel like I don't know. I feel like you're gonna come back though when you're ready. But this is what I want. Like I want people to be vulnerable. I want people, even the uncomfortable stuff. Like I appreciate people being uncomfortable on camera with me, and I feel like if I was sitting in your seat, I would love to be on this show telling people about myself. But because I'm the host, I'm here to do what I wish I could do. So thank you.
You're welcome.
And is there anything you want to say to my fans? I'm just kidding. To the people watching.
Make sure you subscribe to the regular show. Yeah, make sure since I'm the first guest, make sure you subscribe, watch it, like get her podcast popping and all that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and do you want to shout your Instagram out?
My IG is the bomb diggity DA_BOMBDIGGITY. The bomb diggity.
Alright. Thank you. See y'all later. Bye.
But I'm not sure if that's the best thing for my mental state.